Still got that pinch in your shoulder?
Yeah. Push, push, push.
I think we need to tilt that camera back just a little bit. So looks like we've come up live everywhere. Now we are here.
Woohoo!
And we're live. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live.
That's the best night of the week.
We're excited to join you and be with you tonight. As always, I am Dean Nixon. This is the lovely Kate Simmons out of St. George, Utah with TurningLeaf Health and Wellness. We're super excited, as always, to share with you our life coaching topics and some insights and things that may help you as you are moving forward, with the encouragement to take these types of things into your homes and talk to your loved ones and create conversations, but most importantly, to move yourselves forward.
Yes, yes, yes. In fact, I love that you brought that piece in, as most importantly to help move yourself forward, because I feel like that is a really powerful motion for the topic that we have tonight. Sometimes our topics are all about like society and getting things back together. It seems that we've been that way for a few weeks now, we've been coming into post-pandemic world. But the things that we've been talking about, sharing with you today, I feel like are very much in that introspective, bringing it back to you space of how to move yourself forward.
Yeah. And it's this idea of emotional investment. You know, really, where do you invest your energy, your emotional energy every day, and in recognizing who you're giving that energy to and becoming more aware of why you're giving that energy. And I think that's the part that I'm noticing this last little while with a lot of the individuals that I've been working with, is this emotional fatigue that's starting to arise, where a lot of us are just starting to feel burned out, and a lot of us are starting to feel worn out and tired and fatigued. And a lot of that is due to where our emotional energy is going, that emotional fatigue is coming from.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like there's a few different lanes that we could go with this. So can I pick the lane of relational?
Sure.
Because I feel like emotional fatigue come in, and emotional investment can come into a lot of different places, right?
Right.
But I feel like something that I've been noticing, and I also feel often, is in that one-on-one relational type of space and flow. Per example, if you will, I follow a lot of dating things on like social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. Any help I can get in that area, I'm always looking for. We're coaching on it often, you and I.
Yes.
And so there is a reoccurring theme in this idea of, you know, there's one piece in a relationship, and the relationship may not even be that very defined, right? Like one side of the relationship feels like it's more advanced than the other. And so in a lot of the memes and things that I see, it's like, oh, stop investing your time into somebody who isn't giving you the same back, right? And this is in that dating space, but I feel like this can be applied generally everywhere in relationships. So
very much.
Is that like a cool lane to go down?
I love that lane.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with it wholeheartedly. Is emotional investment needs to be a two-lane highway. You know, a lot of times we overly invest in individuals. We give them too much time and we give them too much energy because it's what we crave. It's because what we want back. And we are wanting this emotional energy. We want the unconditional love. We want the unconditional acceptance. And so in our minds, we think we're going to just keep giving that and giving that and giving that to individuals, hoping that someday in return, and I hear this a lot from people. I hear people will tell me a lot, I wish I could find somebody that would treat me as good as I treat other people. And that's where we have to step back. That needs to be a red flag in relationships. That needs to be a situation where one of two things needs to happen. We either, number one, have a very honest, heartfelt conversation with the individuals if they're open to it, because sometimes they're not, and have the heartfelt, open conversation with them and say, hey, listen, you know, I feel like I'm, you know, putting this energy into the relationship. Are you feeling it from me? I feel like I'm not getting that piece back, or you feel like you're giving it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, and work through the communication aspect of it. and or we need to pull that boundary within ourselves and start to create a boundary within ourselves where we stop giving so much emotional energy to these individuals that aren't respecting it or willing to give it back.
Yeah, and I would completely agree. And I love that the place that you led with that was in communication. Right?
Yes.
And I think, once again, if we're looking at this in a space of really bringing it back to you, right? Like, what emotional investments do I want to be making? Where do I want to be experiencing in my relationships, to come from that place of, hey, this is my perspective in what's going on.
Right.
This is what I would like to be experiencing in our relationships. This is what I would like to create. Does that work for you? Right.
Yeah.
Because very well, maybe the person isn't trying to have that kind of a relationship with me or you or whomever you're talking to. Right. And so being able to, first of all, use that incredible coping skill of communication, like
Right.
incredible coping skill
Right.
of going into having an open conversation, but then also like having the awareness to look at a relationship honestly and see where you may be overreaching, right? Not
Yeah.
on the same page,
or
underreaching if
Yeah.
that's you. Yeah. We're coming at this from a place of being overly emotionally invested
Correct.
in something. But
Yeah.
it could be the other side of it where maybe, hey, someone in my life is investing more than I am, and be able to see where you're not
Yeah.
in an equal exchange there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And being able to have that insight in that conversation. But we do get to a place. And so a lot of times, clients will be asking me, well, why am I doing this? Why am I putting so much energy into this person? Or why am I putting so much energy into this relationship or into this connection, whatever it is? So I've seen people that are invested in organizations, that they're putting more energy into the organization than they're actually deriving out of it. I see it in businesses. I see it in religious situations. I see it in, volunteer organizations and all sorts of things, all the way to the relationship piece that you're talking about with, either a dating situation or a parenting situation, et cetera. And the reason a lot of times that we do this is twofold. Number one is that we tend to get our identity or our value or our sense of self from the relationship rather than from ourselves. So in a lot of ways, we are trying to not lose an aspect of ourselves. We're trying not to lose a piece of who we think we are, because that relationship brings that to us, or it reflects something to us. So again, going from this understanding that every relationship you have in your life is a reflection, it's a mirror. Right. And so what you see in that mirror, what you're getting back from that mirror oftentimes is a reflection of what it is that you want, need, or think and feel you want or need. Some of that reflection is intentional because the person is investing and the person cares and they are there. Some of it is something that you are perceiving as being projected. So I'm going really deep here, I know. So bear with me. The other side of that is...
time out. So some of it is real and some of it is perception.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some of it is self-deception.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we start to create this idea of this is who I am based upon the reflection I'm getting. So if I lose that mirror, if I lose that reflection, then I lose me. And that's not true. Right. Because it's nothing more than a reflection. So because of that, we overinvest in a relationship that has nothing to give to us but an emotional energy drain. So once we let that mirror go, once we let that reflection go, once we let that relationship go, then oftentimes we'll either see one of two things. The other person will go, hey, something's changed. I need to figure out what happened. Why are they, pulling back, or why are they withdrawing? I need to step up and work to make the relationship healthy again, or they leave. But either way, it solves your problem, right? If that makes sense. And that other aspect of it is that we are getting something from it. That's the second reason why, is we tend to be getting something from the relationship that we are missing within ourselves. So we're trying to create within ourselves a feeling or a belief that we're creating something. So sometimes I'll see where people will be giving a lot of love and a lot of energy and a lot of creativity to a relationship because they really feel like that other person is valuing it and benefiting from it. And it's something that helps them. They go, man, I feel like I'm it makes me feel good to
Yeah.
to do that.
Gives me purpose.
But the reality is that the other person, they aren't deriving any of that. They're not. The relationship is kind of one way.
Mhm.
They're taking it and they're taking it in. It's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they're just taking it all in. And I'm not investing anything back. I'm not coming around and hanging out and talking and communicating. I'm not showing up when you need me to show up, but you keep doing all these things. So I'm just going to sit here and receive. But what's happening is in our minds, we perceive that giving piece as somehow being fulfilling, when in reality, at the end of the day, it's extremely draining and depressing.
Right.
So hopefully, I know that was a tangent, so hopefully you understood that.
Well, yeah, and I think it was awesome. And what we're talking about here, by the way, because it's just came in, so I'm sure somebody just thought it somewhere. We're not talking about service.
Right.
We're not talking about going out and sharing your heart and doing it for others and being emotionally invested and physically and financially and spiritually, all the investments that we make when we go out to be of service to others, right? This is in a relational experience. This is when like you led with, right? Like, this is a two-way street. This is an exchange of something that's happening, because there's a lot of value in just pure giving of yourself to go out and to help somebody with but that's not this relationship, right?
No, that's a different topic.
Yes, I completely
agree. That's a totally different topic, because in service, and just to kind of touch on it and then jump back, is the difference between this and service is the intention behind it. In service, you see that you have a value, you see you have a gift or a quality or talent or resources that you can give, and you're giving them with no intention or condition. You're just serving. This, what we're talking about, is a totally different. This is like apples and oranges.
Yes.
This is me investing energy into a situation, thinking that it's going to define me.
Right.
Or investing energy into an individual, thinking they're going to love me.
To get a return.
Right.
Right, exactly. To create an actual relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then we really get to talk about boundaries, right? And I think especially those boundaries that we make within ourselves of our what it is that we are deserving of.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And once again, getting into a space where you can take a real good, honest look at yourself as to the whys of your behavior, why it is that you would be overreaching and emotionally investing in someone or something that isn't giving an equal exchange, right? That isn't meeting you at least halfway, right? Sometimes I have a hard time with that notion of it, but like, meet me halfway, like, let's get on the same page here.
Right.
And so I feel like that really develops and builds in all those places of codependency.
Yes.
Right. That overextension of emotional exchange versus what you're actually getting back.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And so by looking honestly at the relationships that you have and seeing maybe where some boundaries need to be put into place, because by the way, we're also not saying go out and get rid of all your relationships, not by any stretch of the imagination at all either, right? Like if you're looking at all your relationships, you're like, dang, I don't really have a single healthy one. I'm just going to wipe it all out. That's not the point either.
Right.
We need to be able to look at it honestly and then put in boundaries so that you are honoring you and your emotional output.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I follow. And that's where I think that the boundary piece that we've got to work on is always like what we're talking about here, in our work is where are you getting that identity from? Where are you getting that value from? And the first boundary that we have to set is to really invest into my relationship with myself. And is my relationship with myself healthy? And if it's not, that's okay. I mean, it's not an all or nothing here. It's a matter of, that's why people come in. That's why people come and get help. And to step in and sit on the couch and to process or call in on Zoom is to, how do I make my relationship with myself healthier? And how do I turn more inward, not inward as in reclusive, but inward as in anchoring into myself more. How do I do that? And if a lot of times what I get concerned about is we don't get help for these things. We don't. And I think a lot of times, especially men, because of the way we've been programmed, I think men of this latest generation coming up, the millennial generation, are a little bit better than some of us from the Gen X and the baby boomer generations, and some of the others were a lot, but aren't as good at letting ourselves be helped. Yes. We just think, well, we'll fix it, or it'll fix itself, and it doesn't. It really doesn't. We have to really step in, and we need to ask for help. We need to put ourselves in situations, because a lot of times I'll say these types of things to people and men, and they look at me like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
But yet, once I can show them what I'm talking about, once I can help them see what I'm talking about, the light bulbs go on, and then the progress is made. But when we try and go it alone, when we're constantly trying to solve these things on our own, we contribute to the issue.
What's that saying that you can't find a solution in the same place that you created the problem, right? Like you gotta, what is that?
I'm not sure. I get the theory.
It's like a really famous quote is what I'm trying to find.
Well, and I think it's in the same mindset as the problem was created, not the same place.
Right, yes.
But yes, I think you can't solve a problem from the same mindset that created the problem.
Right.
And I don't know the quote, but I'm assuming that's the quote. Because I agree. I think you can definitely find the answer where the problem started, but you can't solve the problem from the same mindset that the problem was created in. And so you do have to change that mindset,
right?
And really start to shift that. So it is important for us to start to recognize that if I'm giving emotional energy to individuals that aren't moving me forward, or relationships or situations or environments that aren't moving me forward, the first thing I have to do is I have to really anchor within myself. I have to start to really reinvest and understand who I am. The second thing we have to work on is stop listening to everybody else, right? This is the thing that we so get into, and people get so mixed up, is there are so many individuals that think they know the right answers, and they think they know the right answers for everybody but themselves.
Right.
And so a lot of times I'll see people that are start to kind of pull back, and they'll start to go, hey, I need to let go of this relationship. It's not healthy for me. And then family members will step in and start trying to oversteer it, because they don't have all the information.
Right. Plus
they have an agenda. They have their reasoning for wanting it to be a certain way. And maybe they're not in a healthy headspace. And so then we start, then clients start listening to it, and they get side railed, instead of recognizing that oftentimes, in order to create growth in a relationship, I have to change the energy of the relationship, not end the relationship. And I think that's where people misunderstand is, at no point have we said to end the relationship. Right. That is not anything that has come out of our mouths, is to cut people off or end the relationship. That's not what we're saying. We're saying change the energy, change the flow of the energy in the relationship. And by doing so, that's when we really start to change the dynamic.
And I think it's important to mention that in the beginning of the redirecting of the flow, or the changing of the flow, it takes some really conscious effort.
Yeah.
Right? Like once again, you got to put those boundaries in your heart and in your mind of, okay, if this happens, then this is how I'm going to respond, or I will choose not to respond.
Right.
Right. And in doing that, the practice of it just makes the relationship now start to be in an equal exchange of energy and flow. And it has nothing to do with withholding love or withdrawing yourself, but it has everything to do with making the dynamic more healthy.
Yeah. And we've got to stop, it goes these, I've seen it on people's posts where they talk about it, and I echo it, is stop chasing love.
Yes.
Stop chasing love. If you're putting all this energy into individuals and you're chasing the love, that's not healthy. That's you overly emotionally investing. The difference between hopefully the posts and somebody just telling you to stop chasing love, and what you're hearing from us today is hopefully there's some content here that helps you shift it and to make the change. And if you're looking for more insight and information as to how to make that shift or how to make that change, please get in here. You know, we are here to help you. We are here to help through. This is not an easy life to navigate through. The thing that breaks my heart is walking and suffering when there's not need for it. So those are my thoughts. I mean, we're out of time.
Oh my goodness.
We are out of time.
Clearly we could talk about this for a while.
So
we may have to do another one next week, and someone help Justin, where are you? Help me remember to do this. Like maybe to take this energy piece into another arena. Because like I said, there could be a number of different topics that we could do. But we love you.
Yeah.
I hope you know that. And we would love to be able to be a part of your journey and assist you in any way that we can. So until next week, take this to the water cooler, take it to the dinner table like we led with. Make it a topic of conversation. Because once again, we if we're not in awareness, we don't know, right? We can't get more healthy if we aren't in awareness of, hey, maybe I've got some things in my relationship that I could work on to make it more even in exchange.
Absolutely.
So we will see you next Monday Night Live, same time, same place, wherever you're watching us from. Have a wonderful week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, hello, Christine.